Hey, this is Mitch from Castro Valley Fitness. How are you all doing? How are you all making it through all this? Today, what I want to talk about is some exercises. Obviously, with the situation that's been going on, we've been doing a lot of home workouts. And just about every home workout is going to have a squat, a push up, a plank. These are really good exercises you can do with body weight, or in the case of a squat, just holding on to anything. So, what I want to talk about today is the one mistake that I'm seeing with each of those exercises as people attempt to do it from home. And hopefully this will help you get a little more out of your workout when you are doing it at home. So I will be right with you. We're going to talk about the squat first. Okay, so first thing, we're going to talk about the squat and the issues that I see with that. Today I'm just going to talk about the one thing with each of these exercises. So what I want to talk about with the squat is the hips, okay? So what you want to do with a squat is you want to be conscious of moving your hips first. And I'm going to show you this from the side because it's a little easier to see when I do that. So when I move my hips first, I want you to see my center of gravity. I want you to notice where that stays, and I also want you to notice my knee position. Okay? So I push my hips back first, and then I get down for that squat. Okay? So back, down, back, down. Okay, so now notice my center of gravity and my knee position if I break at my knees first, okay? Okay, so you notice a couple of things. When I break at my knees first, you see where my knee position is here, and you see that most of my weight is going to be on my toes. And what this is going to do over time is this is going to bother my knees because it's completely taking out what I call the posterior chain. Not what I call, but everyone calls the posterior chain, meaning my hips, my glutes, my hamstrings, all the stuff on the back side of my body that balances out the stuff on the front side of my body, okay? So if you notice when I move my hips first, boom, I stay back, my knees stay a lot further back, and most of my weight, not all of my weight, most of my weight stays on my heels. That helps me keep my center of gravity a little more steady, and it also keeps the tension off my knees, into my hips, and as I add weight, if I do add weight, then it helps me enable my core a little better as well. So let me show you if I'm going to do this with weight, what's going to happen if I have something in front of me, let's say a goblet squat, which is something you probably would do at home, holding some weight here. If I break at my knees first, what's going to happen is that weight is going to pull me forward, and I'm going to wind up rounding over at my back, which is not good for the back. Okay? If I move my hips first and I have the weight here, it's going to help me keep that weight a little closer to my center of gravity as I go down. So that's the squat. Move your hips first when you squat, and you're going to find that everything kind of stays right along the lines of where you want it. All right? Now we're going to move into the push-up. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the push-up. And the one issue that I see with push-ups a lot is people don't use their core. So I've said this many times, but push-ups are a core exercise first. Yes, they are a great exercise for your upper body strength, but most importantly, the push-ups use the core to keep your body, your legs, and your arms and shoulders moving together. It's that link between your upper and your lower body that has to be active in order for your body to keep moving at the same pace, which is exactly what we want. We want everything to move in a straight line at the same time. So what I see a lot with push-ups is when people get set up, they're putting all of their consciousness into their arms, okay? So they want to make sure their arms are locked in. What will happen then is they wind up getting this kind of thing going on, or this kind of thing going on, okay? So what those are doing is they're putting all the pressure right on the arm. So when people say, push-ups, I'm feeling it more in the front of my shoulders, that's because of the fact that they're putting all the tension right there. So what I want you to do when you get set up for a push-up, is I want you to grab the floor with your hands. I want you to pull that floor apart. I use that expression a lot. Grab the floor with your hands, pull it apart. What that's going to do is it's going to get your lats start to get work. It's going to get your core starting to work a little more because it's going to take the pressure off of your arms and your shoulders. It's going to force the core to do the job of stabilization, not your arms. So what you're going to do is set your core, make sure your hands are right under your shoulders, eyes up just a little bit, and not here, we want just there. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking on the floor right about there. Okay, so that's where my vision is. My body's in a nice straight line. I'm setting my core. So as I move, I'm actually concentrating more on my core than I am on anything else. And that's going to help me keep everything in that nice straight line we want, as opposed to this kind of thing or this kind of thing. Okay? So that's the key with the push-up. Set the core first. And if you find that you cannot set the core while doing it on the ground, put your hands in a higher position. Put your hands on a chair, a desk, something like that, so that you can keep that body moving in that nice straight line. Okay? Next, we're going to move on to a plank. Okay, so for a plank, we're going to get back to the core a little bit like we did on the push-ups. What people are going to do on a plank is that they're not going to set themselves up in a good position with their elbows, which is going to make them use their arms and their shoulders, again, not their core for that position. Okay, very important. So when I'm setting up for my plank, you can see me there, I'm going to make sure my elbows are right under my shoulders. That's my first step. I get into position here, and then now the big thing I want people to do here is breathe. And when they breathe, I don't want them breathing up here. I want them breathing here. Big, deep breaths into your belly. Okay? What that's going to do, better position there. What that's going to do is it's going to activate the core. It's going to take the pressure, again, off my shoulders. When I'm in a plank position, someone will put their hands right here and feel my traps. There's no tension in there at all. It is like it's like Jello up here. When some people are doing their push-ups, they're all jammed up here because this is where they're getting their stabilization, not here. Okay? So if you can, have someone just kind of touch your traps when you're doing planks. If it doesn't feel like Jello, then you're not using your core very much. You're actually using your shoulders. So the one key on the plank, set your elbows under your shoulders and breathe. Nice, good breaths. What that's going to do is it's going to pull the shoulders down, force you to use your core a little bit more. And again, same thing. If you can't do that in that position, just like the push-up, bring your hands up a little bit. Put your hands on a desk, a chair, something like that, so that you can feel it here. Again, all these things that we're talking about today it's all about the feel. So you got to know what you're trying to feel with the exercise to know if you're doing it right, okay? So that's what I got today. Those are the three things for the three kind of common bodyweight exercises you're going to do at home. If you have any questions, if you have any other issues with any of these exercises you have any questions about, please let me know and I'll help you through it. Again, this is Mitch from Castro Valley Fitness. Talk to you soon.